Everybody, welcome to September 1st, 2025. Of course, I'm Connor McIver. We're going to talk about what's happening here in Santa Clarita Valley just to kind of give you an idea. And I'll show you that we've actually gotten the numbers finished for the recordings up until through August, because, of course, today's September 1st. So let me give you those. So in the past 7 days, we have this kind of activity that has occurred here in Santa Clarita Valley. And it's nothing exciting, except we have seen a little bit of a decline as far as listings go, including more properties have expired, not selling, as we have gotten from the time when kids were out of school, now back in school. So typically the market starts to slow with regard to that. And also, of course, we're getting more into the winter holiday season. So I know it still feels like 1,000 degrees out there. But again, once we start to move more forward towards the Halloween, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, and so on, we'll see how that the market's going to continue. 757 total actives on the market this morning. And also, if we look at this particular 7-day snapshot, 8 coming soon, 77 new listings posted for sale in the past week. You want to see those, SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. Of course, we have 76 price changes, 18 properties gone back on market, 39 properties active under contract, 50 properties pending, 55 closed, 23 expired, 23 also canceled this past week. 9 have been put on hold, 6 have withdrawn. These numbers are not uncommon for what I've been watching daily for the past 2 months. Everything's pretty much staying standard and the same. Now here's months of inventory. We can see that we now, properties are starting to take longer to sell as we close out August of 2025. And you can see that jump is compared from July, which properties seem to be moving about just as fast July as we saw last November and then also December. Of course, as you get towards the end of any year, properties tend to move a little bit faster, at least the ones that are in process, just because people are trying to get them off their books and finished by the end of the year for tax purposes, or they just want to be in before the new year. The next slide here that I pulled up with the statistics, and I'm running all residential, all Santa Clarita Valley cities, as you can see down here at the bottom. But what I did is I pulled the expired listings count because I thought it was appropriate just to show you the large increase of expired listings as compared to last month, the closing numbers of July, somewhere around 24, 25. But we see August, those numbers of expired exceeded 40. And that's just because people are not relisting their properties after they expired during the contractual time frame. I did a show on this talking about why potentially the properties expired and didn't sell. And of course, the biggest pain point, and usually the biggest reason, has to do with price. There are some things that people are able to change with their properties that might make buyers more excited about them, maybe make buyers more motivated to purchase or at least write offers that don't have to do with price, but that's going to have to be taken on a case-by-case basis. There's so many different variables. But having an expert come into your house and give you just basically right from the gut, just tell you exactly what you need to change, what you should change, and then give you validation as to why. Because there is statistical information based on why people don't buy residential real estate, and not everything has to do with price. So if you have a property that expired or was canceled or withdrawn from the market, you're not interested in selling it anymore, but kind of underneath you want to get out of California or upsell, downsell, whatever it may be, give us a call. Let's have a look. All right. So that's those numbers there, the expired listings. Pretty dramatic. Now we move into the median sales prices, just looking at comparisons. And again, this isn't a comparison of list price to sales price. We see those still running very solid. We don't see any deductions in actual properties losing value out there in Santa Clarita Valley. In the Midwestern cities, of course, other cities around, yes, but not in Santa Clarita, and not when you have cities that are close to metro areas like Los Angeles. And of course, you got Manhattan, those properties in that neighborhood or in close proximity there. But you go to a smaller town somewhere in the Midwest and stuff, yeah, you're going to see right now those trends, our properties are starting to sell for less than the historical value. So properties are taking a hit. All right, so the next slide here, I pulled up days to sell median. And we're tied with July. The time on market time frames are about the same. We ran all residential with regard to that, everything single family, condo, townhome. And we see that those numbers are around 30 days from the listing to getting into escrow, and then, of course, finishing. And then another slide here, active numbers of listings. Just wanted to do that comparison between August, September, a little bit less. And we should see, actually, excuse me, August, a little bit less than we saw in July. You can see here about maybe 150 to 200 difference in this regard from the active numbers of listings from July to August. And again, school went back into session August. And we're going to see the numbers as soon as September closes out, which we're at September 1st. So these numbers aren't complete. We'll probably see that come down probably about the same. We'll have to watch and see what happens. All right, everybody, you can go to zoommescv.com, zoommescv.com, and then we can also pull up the main website. You can go to Santa Clarita openhouses.com. I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. And I greatly appreciate you watching, of course. Be well, everybody. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.